It's Moneyline Parlay season, college basketball. Ooh, yesterday was a day, baby. Can we run it back again today? We're going to try to do the same exact strategy. Let's find out. This is the free three. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day. And we just try to get to the bag together and make that money. Wait. Okay, you guys hear the horn. You know what the horn means? The horn means somebody's getting paid. Why is somebody getting paid? Because yesterday we had a full sweep. Michael Frazier, you commented yesterday on the video 30. DM me on Twitter. I got you. I'm going to Venmo you your $30 for hitting yesterday a full sweep on the board. Yesterday, really a 4-0 day. Not a 3-0 day, a 4-0 day. We got the Florida parlay right. Florida State. It got a little sweaty there at the end for Florida, but hey, we got the cash and done. The three-team steam. We took Memphis on the money line in the college football in their Frisco Bowl. They got it done. It got a little sweaty at the end as well. And then Dayton. Oh my goodness. I was watching that game yesterday. Like, oh man, they're gonna blow it. Dayton was able to hit the game-winning and one with like 4 seconds left. UNLV had a great shot to tie it, or actually to win it, and they missed it. Oh man, that was a nerve-wracking one. But we got the three-team steam done, and then Drake. Woo! They were up by like 20 in the first half. And then Kansas State came back, and Kansas State made it a ball game. They took the lead late. It went into overtime, and that's normally where dogs go to die. But our dog stood up. The Bulldog of Drake got it done. We cashed it on the money line at plus 100 value. And then the NBA Cup going under, that was just icing on the cake there. As we saw Giannis, and I figured they were going to win the game in all honesty, but we took the under as a bonus bet. 4-0 on the day. Let's go. We're going to get somebody paid. We're going to run it back again. So if you're new to the channel, this is what we do. Something that we started new this month. If we sweep the board, I'm cash apping, I'm Venmoing, I'm Zelling somebody $30. It's typically 3 picks that we do here on the channel. So if we go 3-0, that's $10 a pick, $30. And if we can do it every single week, let's say for like a month, let's see if next month we raise it to $50. Because if we're winning bets, you're getting paid, I'm getting paid, we're having a good time here. All right, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you send this to somebody, and just all you got to do is comment 30 below. 30. That's it. Feel free to drop your best bet. Feel free to drop your favorite play, but make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're interacting. But all you gotta do is say 30 below like Michael did yesterday, and we'll get you some bread. Michael, drop 30 below. Well, I should say DM me. You already dropped 30, but drop 30 again today, boss, and we'll get you paid, all right? Let's dive into these winners for today. We've been killing it. 22-14 for the month of December. College basketball, 7 games above 500. We love to see it. And then after this whole NBA Cup day off today and everything, we're going to get back into the NBA and start stringing some winners over there, all right? Let's dive into these winners in the college basketball slate. Loaded, beautiful slate that we've got here in the college basketball world today. Let's get it done. All right, first best bet for this Wednesday card. I'm going to kind of do what I did yesterday, Moneyline Parlays, all right? I'm going to break down the marquee game that is like the center of the parlay, and then the added games are there just to give us some more boost so we can kind of get to better odds value, okay? If you do want to lay the original spread on the marquee game, be my guest. I do think all the teams cover that I have as like the first main game. So for example, the first 3 teams team we're going to go with is Creighton on the money line, and then we're going to add UConn and USF on the money line to get us to plus 100 value. So Creighton is the main game. That is the game that you're going to be laying 150, minus 160 on the juice. And can you lay the 2.5, 3 points? You can, but I would just rather lay the money line. Sometimes some wacky stuff happen in these college basketball games. Guys hit a running 3-pointer, they're down by 4, they hit the shot, they end up covering by 1. I just don't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to take the money line. Creighton is on the road today against a Georgetown team that truthfully is doing pretty good since Ed Cooley's taken them over. His second season for the Hoyas, Ed Cooley has this team at 8-2 on the year. They're 84th on KenPom. Not too shabby. But when you look at their strength of schedule, then you kind of look at that 8 wins and kind of scratch your head and say like, all right, who have they really played? Because of all of their wins, the only one that was less than a team that was 250th or lower was Syracuse. And that happened this past Saturday. They won that game 75-71. But besides that, they played Notre Dame at home, third game of the season. They lost that game by 21. Then they played West Virginia on the road. They lost that game by 13 points. Now they play a Creighton team that's ranked 40th on KenPom. And yes, they're 7-4, but their 4 losses have come to some pretty great teams. Nebraska, San Diego State, Texas A&M, and Alabama in their last game, which was on the road in a true road environment. But they were able to cover the spread in that game. That's what gives me confidence in taking Creighton today on the road. This is the first conference game for Creighton, and yes, they're on the road against Georgetown, but Georgetown's not really one of those places that have that true home environment that you're used to seeing. The Hoyas have fallen off over the last several years. We know they went to the Patrick Ewing era. That was just a huge fail. We saw them get upset by Florida Gulf Coast like 10, 13, 14 years ago with Otto Porter. That was like the last time this Georgetown Hoyas team has been really good. And now Creighton has a chance here to start off their Big East Conference play, not only with a win, but with also a true road win. And then on top of that, with a Hoyas team that right now is 8-2, it might later on in the season not look like that good of a win. So you want to grab the W just in case the Hoyas do look good later on in the season in terms of when it comes down to the bracketology, or if it doesn't, then you don't want this loss to hurt you. Creighton right now is 51st in offensive efficiency, 33rd in defensive efficiency, 49th in effective field goal percentage on the offensive end, 19th in effective field goal percentage on the defensive end. They have to cause a little bit more turnovers than what they currently do, but right now they're shooting the ball really well, top 10 in 2-point field goal percentage. I like Creighton here on the road to get it done. It's a little bit of a bias, not a bias, I should say. What I'm looking for is the Georgetown's schedule is a little bit deceiving, is the best way to put it. Creighton's a great team. They shot the ball well against Alabama. If they can keep the three-point shooting lean it into this game, we're good to go. Now, for the other picks that we have here, we got UConn at home against Xavier. That is a Big East matchup as well. They're laying like 13 points. I do lean Xavier if you want to take the road team on the point spread, just because of how slow UConn plays and then how big of a spread it is. But without Xavier's best player in Fremantle, he got hurt last game with a lower body injury. We know he missed all last season with that as well. For me, I'm not willing to take them on the spread or anything. I'm just going to take UConn at home. They've been able to bounce back since the Maui Invitational, pick up some big wins against Baylor, Texas Gonzaga. They should be able to get it done. And then USF is taking on Bethune-Cookman. So this is more of a fade on Bethune-Cookman more than it is a play on USF. We know USF lost a lot of transfers from the team last year, including their head coach who died in the offseason. But this is the thing about this USF team. They're a solid team. They're 5-5 on the year, right? Not too shabby, but their 5 losses have come to pretty decent teams. Florida, we saw how great they were yesterday. Charleston is a pretty decent team. They're supposed to win the Colonial Conference. Middle Tennessee is going to be a team right there in Conference USA that's going to be right there at the top of the conference. Loyola Chicago, same thing in the A-10. And then Utah State in the Mountain West Conference, they're 10-1 on the year. So all 5 of South Florida's losses have come to pretty good teams. Now, Bethune-Cookman, they're 291st on KenPom. They only have 2 wins on the D1 level. They suck. I mean, they haven't beaten anybody good with 250th or lower on KenPom. And now South Florida at home, I like them. Let's lock that in for the first best bet of the day. Now, second pick of the day, it's going to be built around the Memphis Tigers. Not the football team, the basketball team this time. They're on the road traveling to Virginia, and I'm taking Memphis on the money line. And I'm going to parlay this with Marquette on the money line, USC on the money line. That gets you to plus 102 odds. So yes, we're doing 2-3 teams today, okay? I know sometimes I'll try to do 2 teams, but with some of the odds value, you can just like do Creighton and Marquette if you want to. Play around with these 6 teams, guys. Parlay them all together if you want to. If you did that yesterday, you would have had a great payday. But for me, I'm just going to separate it just to kind of mitigate my risk. And I like Memphis here because they're facing a Virginia team that's just really reeling. I'm sorry, right? Ron Sanchez took over the team after Tony Bennett kind of surprisingly retired right before the season started. They're 6-4 on the year, but every time they step up in class, they lose. The only nice win that they have is against Villanova, and Villanova is not they're not really the team that we're used to seeing from them. Tennessee, on a neutral floor, they lost that game by 22. Against St. John's, they lost that game by 25. Against Florida, they lost that game by 18. Against SMU, they lost that game by 8. None of their games have been close against good opponents. Yes, they're at home today. That's why I don't want to lay the spread with Memphis at 5.5. But KenPom has this as a 4-point win for Memphis on the road. Memphis is a good team. They're 8-2 on the year. And if you listen to Penny Hardaway inside of one of the press conferences recently, he mentioned that this is the most important part of their season. Why? Why? Because these are the games that the committee is going to be looking at come bracketology time, to come NCAA tournament time, and say, how did you guys fare in these games? That's what willed them in their non-conference road win against Clemson their last game out. They won that game 87-82 in overtime. Now they have a big chance to pick up an away win against Virginia before they go home against Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Then they start the American Athletic Conference play. Penny mentioned that the committee hasn't really been showing love to the American Athletic Conference during conference play. We saw that last year with USF. So for him, he's trying to load up Memphis's non-conference schedule. They've played Ohio, they played Missouri, they played UNLV, they played San Francisco, Connecticut, Michigan State, Auburn, Clemson. So he's trying to load up the non-conference schedule. So this way, if they do stutter in conference play, it necessarily doesn't hurt them because of how strong their non-conference has been. So I'm taking Memphis here at home. Virginia just can't score any points. They still play at a snail's pace. I feel like Memphis is the much better offensive team here, coming off a huge road win in overtime, carry that momentum here against Virginia. Now, the other two teams that we have here is Marquette and USC. Now, Marquette should be able to get it done today. They're starting Big East Conference play at home against Butler. They had a tough loss on the road against Dayton their last game out on Saturday, but that's a very tough place to play. We saw UNLV yesterday kind of fold a little bit late against Dayton, and that's probably because of the home atmosphere. But Butler's not really a team that I'm willing to back right now. They've lost 3 games in a row against Houston, North Dakota State, which is a terrible loss at home, and then they lost a semi-home game to Wisconsin, which is okay because Wisconsin's pretty good. But now they have to travel on the road to Marquette to take on a 9-2 Shaka Smart team. One of the toughest places to play in the Big East. Give me Marquette to get it done. Now we're going to go to Southern California for our last and final game of the day. And USC is going to be taking on a very weak Cal State Northridge team. They're like 11-point favorites, USC is. Ken Palm has this as a 10-point win, even though this is a road game for USC. USC's got some dogs, okay? I mean, not a away game for USC. It's a home game for USC. I apologize. But USC has some dogs. Now, when they step up in class against St. Mary's, New Mexico, Oregon, I fade them because they're not really that good. This is Eric Musselman's first year with the team. He's brought in a lot of transfers. But when they have played lower inferior opponents like Chattanooga, UT Arlington, San Jose State, Montana State, they get the job done. Cal State Northridge, good team, not bad. They like to play really fast, top 20 and adjust to tempo. But for me, USC just has too much size here. Give me them on the money line. That gets us done for our second 2-team steam. Third and fourth best bet of the day. These are 2 separate bets, okay? I just shared one slide so I can just save space, okay? 2 teams at -2.5 on the spread. We're taking Michigan. We're taking New Mexico. Both of them are -115 odds, all right? So 4 total best bets I'm giving you guys in college basketball today for a total of, 8 teams that we're going with, all right? Michigan on the spread. They're taking on Oklahoma. Now, I faded Oklahoma in the last game against Oklahoma State because I said this is the first true road environment for Oklahoma. This is the first step up in class for them, and they got it done. Let's give Oklahoma credit. They're 10-0 in the year. Porter Moser has them playing some great basketball, 39th in offensive efficiency, 43rd in effective field goal percentage, 76th in three-point percentage, 20th in free throw percentage. They're good. They've beaten Providence. They've beaten Arizona. They've beaten Louisville. They've beaten Oklahoma State. But this is the thing. All their games have been home or on neutral floors. Michigan is by far the best team that they have had to play. Yes, it is still on a neutral floor because this game is being played in Connecticut. In Charlotte. Not Connecticut, in Charlotte. It's the Jordan Classic. But the strength of schedule, for me, is just weak. Providence, that's not that quality of a win now. 79-77. Arizona, they're 4-5. Is that quality of a win? Louisville, I mean, they're good, but they're 6-5. Oklahoma State, Battle of Oklahoma, they're 6-3. Now you face a Michigan's team that's 8-2 on the year. Their only 2 losses were in their second game of the regular season to Wake Forest, and that was just because Dusty May's system was getting incorporated, okay? Then the last game against Arkansas, a very good team on a neutral floor, and they lost that game 89-87. I like Michigan here. I like them on the neutral floor. Ken Palm has a 3-point win. Defensively, Michigan is 16th in defensive efficiency, 17th in effective field goal percentage on the defensive side. They limit teams to the amount of threes that they take and 2-pointers that they have. They have a lot of size. They've got the 7-footer Danny Wolf, the junior. They've got the 7-1 transfer from FAU Golden. I mean, they've got a squad. And I doubted Michigan. I faded them when they were playing like Iowa, Wisconsin, and I lost. I like them here on the spread, neutral floor, -2.5. Both teams are going to have to travel here, but I like the Michigan faithful. Oklahoma, I'm expecting some regression a little bit down the season. Ken Palm has them with a less than 500 record in conference play. And it just concerns me that they have not played any true road games yet. Their first true road games are going to come January 4th against Alabama to start off SEC play. They're setting themselves up for fire. I like Michigan here. I'm taking them -2.5. Now, New Mexico, they're at home. The RAC, one of the toughest places to play in all of college basketball. The Lobos, led by Richard Pitino, are 8-3 on the year. Now, they're taking a VCU team that's 9-2 on the year. But this is a step up in class for VCU. They lost to Seton Hall on a neutral floor in overtime. They lost to Nevada on a neutral floor. And then they did beat Miami on a neutral floor, but Miami, they're not looking at that as quality of a win anymore. Besides that, only other top 100 win they have in Ken Palm is against Colorado State, and that was on a neutral floor in their last matchup. I like New Mexico here. It's a very tough place to play. Ken Palm has it as a 1-point loss for New Mexico, but I just have to respectfully disagree. This is just going to be a game between offense versus defense. VCU tops 10 in defensive efficiency, top 10 in effective field goal percentage defensively, top 15 in turnover percentage. They turn over the ball. But New Mexico likes to play fast. If you can play fast, you can hit shots, you get more possessions, and you're at home. I'm taking New Mexico -2.5, -115. That's what we're locking in. A lot of picks that we dropped today, my friends, but that's what we're going with today on this Wednesday card. Well, that's it for me today, my friends. Sorry for the longer videos the last few days. Just a lot of games to break down. But to kind of give it to you guys real fast and sweet, 4 plays that we're going with. Creighton on the money line. And then we're going to use UConn and South Florida on the money line to boost that up to +100 value. Memphis on the money line. And we're going to take USC and Marquette on the money line to boost that to +100 value. And then we're going to take Michigan -2.5 spread. New Mexico -2.5 spread. That will tuck us in. That's 4 plays. If you comment below, 30. I will Cash App, Venmo somebody if we sweep the board 2 days in a row. Let's keep the momentum going. And as always, dictate your fate, get to that cheddar. And I'll see y'all in tomorrow's video. It is your boy Noble Living. This is the Free 3. Later, gang.